So let's get it out of the way. What is the definition of fear? Now I have the set definition written down that I'm going to read for you guys. So fear is an emotion induced by perceived danger or threat, either real or imagined, that causes psychological changes and ultimately behavioral changes. So where do fears come from? Usually one of two places. So the first one is from a past experience that we've had. For example, we were in an abusive relationship and we were put into a lot of pain from that relationship. Now, going forward into our future relationships, we carry that pain from our past relationships and we have fear that that sort of pain is going to arise again. And the second way is through a subconscious pre-existing belief or association, and those kind of beliefs are usually ones that are invalidated, that we don't have a reason for being fearful of it, we just are, and we always have been since the beginning of time. So those are the two sources of where fears typically arise from. So we know what fear is and we know where it came from. Now we're gonna get into the deep stuff. So I'm gonna explain a concept that I feel is so underrated and not talked about as much as it truly should, because this concept completely changed my life, the way I view the world and how I view challenges that I have to face. So the concept is that in this life, we all get challenges. I think we all can agree on that. We all get challenges that are specifically tailored to us on the level that we're on. Based on the kind of life that you're living, you're going to get a specific challenge that is challenging to you where you are at this point in time. So there's no question that every single person in this world receives a challenge. And what is a challenge? A challenge is a blockage or a barrier that stops us from us getting to our next level. So the concept is that our job in this world is to overcome the challenges that are thrown our way and to not only get through the challenges, but to transform ourselves from each challenge that comes our way in order to get to our next level and ultimately achieve fulfillment. But let me explain to you guys a little bit more about where I'm coming from. When we think about this world and how it's designed, it appears that everyone has challenges. And these challenges arise not to just people who are of low class or people who have less, but we also see that people with tons of money, huge popularity status, everyone faces some sort of challenge. So what's the deal? If everyone faces some kind of challenge, what is the point of life? Is there never an end? But there is an end to it. I want to touch the surface a little bit on how we can get to that end. Have you ever noticed that once you conquer a fear, that fear usually doesn't come back into your life? So for example, when you're a kid, you're afraid of riding a bike. At first, you were very fearful, you didn't want to fall, you had all these ideas in your head about how things could go wrong. You were so fearful of it. Now, there are two things that can come out of this fear. The first thing that can happen is that we are pushed or somehow we build up the courage to be able to ride the bike. And once we ride the bike successfully, that fear is gone. Now we know there's nothing to be afraid of, we can do it. And the second thing that can happen is that we get so scared that we don't even get the chance to ride that bike. And the longer we wait before we actually do ride the bike, the harder it will be to get up and try again. But what happens with that fear that just seemed to be a little bit more insignificant? What happens is, because we didn't transform that fear, because that fear was never changed, we will have to go the rest of our lives not being able to ride a bike. We're gonna hold on to that fear because we didn't transform. That fear comes from a past experience that we never got to transform from. Things keep arising in our lives because we never previously transformed from it. So the idea is that fear comes from past experiences where we were given the opportunity to transform the fear, but we didn't. So let me give you a little bit more of a modern day example. Let's say you have always been in relationships where your significant other has in some way or another betrayed you. So now in every relationship that you go forward in, you will always have that subconscious fear of being betrayed by this person. So even if circumstances are different in your life, that fear will still be replaying in your mind or your subconscious mind that, oh, this person is going to betray me. You just have a fear that history is going to repeat itself. This fear is validated by your experience. It's happened to you before, so it's a valid fear. But what we don't realize is that these fears will keep leading us to receiving more painful outcomes from them until we make the decision to transform our fear. And unfortunately, every time we have to face it, it will increase in difficulty until we finally face it. Think of life kind of like a video game. Every time you level up, you are faced with new challenges that align with your level. So you will always be challenged by something new to be able to get to your next level. The reason we get the same challenges again and again is because we are not transforming those challenges so that they can never arise again. If there is something that you want to change, that's a sign from the universe that you need to be focusing on tackling that fear, because that will open so many doors for you. By us knowing what we don't like, it's truly a gift, because only by knowing that we don't like something, that's the only way we can transform it. So listen to your desires, listen to your inner voice telling you what you want out of life. The only way to break down those barriers is to think about what is blocking you from reaching your fullest potential and your fullest happiness, and work on eliminating that thing. What we do not want to do is to blame others around us. We don't want to ever say, I'm fearful because of this person. I'm fearful because this person did this to me. I'm fearful because everyone around me makes me feel this kind of way. So by you putting the blame on someone else, you need to realize that that challenge would have come to you anyway. In some way, shape, or form, you needed to go through that difficult challenge. You needed to be pushed to this realization to be able to transform yourself. You need to think of your life in terms of everything is happening for me, rather than this is happening to me. You say, this person, even though they may have hurt me in some type of way, or they're bothering me for whatever reason, they're causing me fear in some type of way, you need to realize that that is an opportunity for you to grow to your next level. If you say, oh, this is the reason I'm fearful because blank, because of this reason, doesn't matter what the reason is. If you're fearful, you need to get to the root of the reason that you're afraid and tackle that. When you live life in this perspective that everything is happening for you and not to you, you are taking back control of your life. You're not letting outside people determine you, because you are in control. You have to realize that you're always in control of your perspective. You're not in control of the situations that come your way, but you can choose to see it as an opportunity for you to better yourself. And that's something that I've been learning a lot lately, is that no matter who's giving me a specific message or who's telling me what, I'm taking that as information that I know I need to work on myself. If someone's making me feel fearful, I need to ask myself, why is that making me feel fearful? Not, why is this person doing this to me? They know I'm gonna be fearful. No, we're taking the control out of ourselves and putting it into the other person. That's not a good way to live our lives. We need to begin to switch that and to take our life into our hands, into our control, and realize that we choose the perspective that we are seeing these different circumstances. When you are afraid of something, it is because you are attached to the outcome. I'm going to say that again. If you are afraid of something, it's because you are attached to the outcome. You are attached to the result. What's the result going to be? It's that anxiety. You're afraid of what the future has in store for you. Now think about decisions that you make when you're in that state. When you're in that state of fear of the outcome. Your decisions are so much more limited because you're acting in fear of a specific outcome. How many times have you looked back on things in your life that have happened and thought, oh my gosh, I am so stupid. How could I have done this? How could I have said this? I should have said this, but I was so angry. I was so scared. I was whatever. Are you stupid? No, you're not stupid. But you just made that decision out of fear. Instead of holding off and thinking, what is the best way I can tackle this situation? It's like an instant reaction. So no, you're not stupid for making a decision. You just have to realize, where is that decision coming from? Because if it's coming from a place of fear, it's going to be more limited than you would prefer it to be. So now you may be thinking, how can you tell the difference between something that you're just fearful of or if something is a genuine threat? So let's say you are being faced with a lawsuit. That is a threat. That is something that you do need to take action on. However, what comes with the lawsuit? If you have fear attached to the outcome, then you're already attracting the outcome from the wrong place. Before you tackle any situation, you need to make sure that it's not out of fear. You need to first transform your beliefs on a situation before you can tackle that situation in whichever way you find to fit. When you first get that initial lawsuit, that initial scare and that worry, take a step back and just remind yourself that any decision that you're going to make in this state of fear is not going to be a good decision. Remember, law of attraction. You can choose how you want your outcome to be, but if you're still in that place of fear, then you're not going to make the right decision. The universe is not going to have your back because you're not coming from the right place. When you're making a decision out of fear, out of lack, out of negativity, then your ideas are so much more limited. When you make decisions out of fear, you're creating more chaos in your life. So whenever you're given a situation, always take a step back and switch your consciousness before making any major decisions. So in other words, yes, you do want to tackle that situation. You don't want to just ignore it. I'm not going to have fear. No, you just want to change your perspective because that's what you have control over. You don't have control over the lawsuit, but you have control over how you're going to go about it. So if you're going about it in a fearful way, you're not going to do all the right steps necessary to be able to tackle it. You need to change your consciousness so that you're able to switch to a reality where you're able to hire the right professionals, do the right necessary work to be able to achieve your desired outcome. I hope that you guys are following. I hope this is making sense. So you want to still confront the issue, but where is it coming from consciousness-wise? Where is your state where you're tackling that issue? So if we understand the concept that our consciousness creates our reality, then we need to think to ourselves at all times before making a decision, what am I doing with my thoughts right now? Where are my thoughts? Where is my consciousness? Where are my limiting beliefs? And where am I holding fear onto? Where am I holding my fear? Am I thinking that the worst is going to happen and putting all my energy into that outcome? Because if you're doing that, then you are really pulling that reality towards you. Law of attraction, guys. The more you put your energy into thinking a specific outcome, the more that outcome is going to come to you. So if you're having fearful thoughts of an outcome, you're having fearful thought that this next relationship that you're just entering is going to betray you like the last one, you're pulling that towards you. Those feelings that you carry, that fear that you carry is such a strong energy and vibration that you're putting out, that has to come to you. What can we do instead? Instead of thinking about the outcome, instead of thinking of the future and what the future holds, we need to be thinking about the right now, because that's what's in our control. We can't control the future. We can't control what's already been done in the past. All we have is right now, the present moment, and we need to take advantage of the opportunities that we have in front of us. So now we're faced with a situation, we're fearful of the outcome. What do we do? What's next? If we don't want to have fear, then what do we have to do? The opposite of fear. What's the opposite of fear? The opposite of fear is having certainty. So if fear means you're attached to the outcome, then certainty means you're attached to the process. We want to be in a state of consciousness where we are always tuning into that certainty, that we accept that we don't know the outcome, we don't know how or what it's going to be, but we know it's going to be okay. We know that ultimately we're going to transform into our best selves. You trust the process, and it's all about the perspective. It's all about where are you putting your dominant thoughts and consciousness into, and you can choose it. So I would definitely highly recommend you guys do this. If you're fearful of something, to manifest a different result, to think about how you want the result to be in your mind, manifest it, write it down, and start to believe it. When you start to believe it, you switch from the state of fear to a state of certainty that this is how it's going to be. Once you feel something, you're now aligning yourself to a frequency where that situation can occur, that manifestation can occur, that outcome that you want can occur when you believe it can. When you believe something can happen, you align yourself to the frequency of it happening. I hope this makes sense, guys. I always feel for some reason when I speak that it's way beyond comprehension. I'm like, how do I translate my thoughts into words? Fear is investing time in the future. We want to be in the present. Being in the present is having certainty. Being present is not missing the opportunities that you have right now. If you're constantly thinking about the future and thinking about the outcome, you're not seeing the opportunities that are right in front of you in this moment. You're being blinded because you're not focusing on the present. You're not focusing on the right now, what you can do right now. You're focusing on the outcome. You're focusing on the future. So slow down. Be patient. Be in the moment. Try your best to live your life one day at a time. When you're getting too caught up in the future, you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking opportunities for you to be able to achieve greatness in the future because you're constantly stressing about how the outcome is going to be. We don't want to be fearful of the outcome. We want to have certainty in the present. The longer we take to conquer our fears, to get to the root of our fears, the harder it's going to get the next time you try and tackle it. It's just going to keep coming back in your life again and again until you conquer it. If you don't do that work to transform, it will keep coming back in a much harder way that will align with the level that you're on because you're not getting to the root. There is something that you are not changing. So now let's go back to the concept that I spoke about in the beginning of the video. We are here in this world to transform our negativity, to transform our fears, our doubts, and our challenges. And through that transformation, then we can achieve our ultimate fulfillment. We can achieve happiness. A lot of the times, what do we do when we get a challenge? We run from them. And we don't completely face the challenge. We don't look the challenge in the face. When we're going into our next relationship, we're not looking back and saying, where was my consciousness in the beginning of the relationship? Because if I'm in that same state of consciousness, I'm gonna keep attracting that same outcome. Ask yourself, how am I gonna grow from it? How are you going to transform for the next relationship? How are you going to do something differently so that you don't get that lawsuit next time? Whatever the challenge is, we all get different challenges. How are you going to transform? How are you going to transform next time so that the challenge doesn't need to come back because you've learned the lesson of that challenge? You don't need to be fearful of the outcome anymore because you've already transformed that fear. Now you have certainty. Now you have certainty of the outcome. You've practiced the law of attraction. You're practicing developing, being in the present moment and being certain, having certainty that you don't know how, you don't know when, but the universe will deliver you your best results for your personal growth and transformation. Now, I hope I was clear throughout this video. I know it's a little bit of a difficult topic to talk about, and I feel like a difficulty for me when creating my videos is that I have so much I want to say, but I know if I add too much, the video will just be too long and it will be hard to follow. So I try to simplify it as much as I can. If you guys have any confusion about anything that I'm talking about, please reach out to me personally. I'll gladly expand on any of the topics that I talked about today. And please leave me your feedback. I love hearing feedback from you guys, whether it's through my Instagram DMs, through the comment. Ultimately, my content is for you guys. So please give me your feedback and let me know what you like. If something was hard to follow, if there's something that you think I can improve on, or if you just want to let me know how I did, please do so. This is truly a big passion of mine and I really do want to get better at it. So if you do enjoy this content, if you do watch these videos, please let me know. Please reach out to me. And yeah, so thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. And remember guys, always focus on your present and not your future, because right now is all we got. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!